Hola everyone, welcome to Supersoldier Lady Talk on Codebreaker Real Talk. Guess who I have on today? Not only IrisJackson, but JessicaMarrocco. I am so grateful for you ladies to be here and glad you are here. How are you all doing, Jessica?
Oh, we're doing great. Thanks for inviting me. I'm looking forward to this for a little while. Quite a while, yeah.
Thank you.
I do. I'm looking forward to it also. The power of three. Let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Favorite number, 3. 3, anything 3, 33, 13, you name it.
That's her number.
Yeah, my number's 33. We got this. So, I contacted you the other day because I thought, okay, well, since last year, people have been telling me that, I put out my video on, hey, I contacted finally this February. I got my paperwork. Got vetted out, like they say, by Peter the Insider. I called him. He gave me my record verbally, and he told me, everything since I was taken since a year and 8 months. You guys can look at that video, audience. You guys can look at that video on my, Codebreaker. But then my friends started saying, hey, well, how can I get my records? Can you put me in contact with Peter? And then I asked Peter, and he says, I'm not doing it anymore. I just don't have time. And I'm like, okay. So then I heard this thing saying that certain members in the community, should I even say their name?
Probably not.
Okay, so a couple in the community were responsible, and that supposedly they had a computer like Peter. And then I'm like, I gotta check with somebody. I asked Iris. Iris says, call Jessica, and then that's when we talked, and we said no. So they can go to mediums like yourself, myself, and then the Oracle Power Lady. But go ahead, Jessica. What's really going on with that, with ACIO and all
This is a struggle that's been going on for quite a while. Peter is someone that shows up. He does what he has to do, and then he sort of disappears. He goes off and does his missions. He works full time for the ACIO. That can mean hours on end. He doesn't have time to really follow up and watch what's going on out there publicly. Peter is the only person that has a specific computer that has records to the ACIO. So if someone says, well, I have information from the ACIO from specific records, I don't have a computer. There's no one else that has a computer. If someone says that they have one of his computers, they're not accurate at all. It's completely incorrect and misleading. Now, if you say, I have an intuitive ability and I'm able to see certain things. Now, I've had a discussion with Peter regarding this because I won't. I've been working with Peter since, 2016, 2017, and I will never say that I have his records, that he has exactly. However, Peter does come to me and ask me for information because I'm an interdimensional seer, and I am working with the ACIO, but in a different capacity in the 6th division. But even with that, I do not say that I have the computer that Peter has. So we've had over the years people telling the public, oh, I can give you that information. I have access to Peter's information. I don't know why. Maybe because people feel like, he's not accessible and they're going to go in and they're going to make some money or fill in the gaps, or they actually honestly believe that, they actually believe that they have the information. It's possible, right? But in all honesty and integrity, no one should be saying that they have his computer, because they don't. And that's a fact. So because of this problem, I'm going to bring in a shared screen document from the ACO that I created in agreement with Peter. It is a disclaimer that we posted, particularly for this reason, because this has been going on for quite a few years with different people. And as of date of this writing, the ACIO official website and Peter the Insider are the only officially sanctioned resources and authority on the Advanced Contact Intelligence Organization. It has come to our awareness that there may be other groups or individuals online that claim to be a part of the ACIO or have access to personal records, database files, and intelligence reports from the ACIO. We ask that you probe these claims with a discerning eye, as many have attempted to falsely pose as an ACIO representative for various negative agendas that only serve to counteract and discredit the disclosure movement. To this date, Peter the Insider is the only known individual to publicly offer intelligence directly from the ACIO, as no other individual has been authorized by the ACIO to perform this role on a public level. With select individuals Peter works with, he is able to use technology interface to access an individual's energetic field and extract relevant information and personal files for super soldiers and SSP experiencers. This process is very similar to how a psychic may tune into an individual's Akashic record. However, the ACIO's computer interface allows him to access the deepest possible level of an individual's Akashic record. This is referred to as a proto-consciousness level and is accessible by only the most skilled and experienced of psychics in limbo or in the astral level, if it is accessible at all to a regular human. With that said, even Peter himself is given authorized access to only a limited database within the ACIO for purposes of disclosure. At this point in time, Peter is not publicly offering access to personal records for the super soldiers or SSP experiencers due to other major responsibilities he is currently active in. And no definite timeline is available for when Peter will go back to offering the service. However, it should be noted that Peter will never ask for compensation for any of these services. So any individual that claims to offer and share the ACIO personal records for a payment is a definite fraud and should be ignored and avoided. So it's right here. It's been here for years, this information. And I'm going to stop the share. Peter and I have had a discussion because prior to meeting Peter, I was working with clients. I have a very strong opening to the Akashic records. When I work with people, I tell them I have access to the Akashic records, and because I work with the ACIO, I can see information regarding people's super soldier experiences. And when it gets to a certain point, I will refer them to Peter if it's necessary. If he feels that he needs to connect with them, he will. Not for anyone to take it personal. If he doesn't, it may just not be the right time, or the point where, you know, it's related to the project that he's on. Right. At that point. Now, Peter feels bad. He can't interact with people, and he had to cut this off. And I know that a lot of people are upset that they really wanted to get their records, and that other people they kind of missed the point where they could actually do this. And we apologize about that. I mean, it's not something that's comfortable. However, there are people very active. We do acknowledge that there are people that are having recall, and you know, we support that completely. There are a lot of people that are trying to help super soldiers out. They are not necessarily working with us, or their process is not necessarily consentable through Peter, or they're charging a lot of money. Peter actually got on me. I've kept my prices at like $100 for an hour for over 20 years. For 20 years I have. And of course the cost of living's gone up. I've done the best that I could to and I only do it because, you know, it's my time. You know, if I do, either I do this or I go out and work, but it was never to really take advantage, and always to be available to most people that can't afford it. Obviously I can't do everything for free like he could, because he's on you know, he gets paid, you know, he has, however, he's compensated. But I don't, you know, it's become lucrative to say, you know, within the gap that Peter, I can do what Peter does. And so we've had probably about 3, 4, 5 people or so that have been saying that. And I think ethically they should really stop saying and coupling in that they are representing Peter in the ACIO. That they should just say, I'm doing a private session. This is my information that I'm gathering from my intuitive ability, and stay with that, you know. But we know that the YouTube is about making money for people. Some people monetize. They want to be influencers. They want to be celebrities. They want to do whatever. That's fine. We're not giving consent to that because we've never been about celebrity or trying to be like, the know-it-alls or anything like that, or trying to be influencers in any way. Peter and I've talked about that. So it's mostly just to get the information out, and that is the key, because the ACIO has not been public for thousands of years. They've been around, but they've not been public. And so for them to be public right now, they're trying to do everything within integrity, because it's about helping people. It's about informing the masses and giving them an idea of what's going to happen in the future, or what's happening now, to have a better understanding and become more awake to the experience, because they're intervening in that sense through information.
Mm-hmm.
So does that help you?
Yeah. Yeah, because even a person that they call Kim Possible is showing stuff on the ACIO, and Tanya from Galactic Talk, he put a video on that, and he said she had no permission.
No, she also said she worked with us, and I know she never worked with me, and I talked to Peter and he said, no, definitely not. He says, the ACIO is a big corporation, but he would know who was working with who at this time. So I think it was, here again, trying to maybe pull in people that were listeners of ours. And sometimes it's just something simple like that. Sometimes it's malicious. I mean, I don't know what's going on in people's heads, but I do know that most intelligent people will not, read verbatim off of someone's website and say, this is my information, which doesn't make any sense why they would do that, because do they not think that no one would recognize it's not their content? Right. So yeah, it's been a very weird situation. And we don't have a huge following. We have a lot of people that are aware of us, but we don't have a huge following. So that also was surprising to me, that people are going out of their way to try to throw around Peter's name, or say that they're associated, or another thing that's come up, Veronica, you'll find is interesting, is they're saying that I think someone from that group also said that they have resolved everything with Monarch. They have resolved everything with all the corporations, and everything's taken care of. We've done it. You guys didn't know how to do it. And it's like, first of all, they don't even know what the topic is. They don't even know what the organizations are and the depth of how powerful they are. And so they're just, assuming that they have accomplished this goal, and it's not true.
Now, I saw her involved with what I call the twin Alice. I named it that because I was walking one night and I saw this female being just staring down at me. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that's the other Alice.
So the small Alice and then the big Alice? Yeah.
She was looking down and I'm like, oh, crap. Like, okay, because they have different AI systems. So one is going to be for tracking everybody on their GPS and their vehicles. And the other one is down below, the dark web, we'll say, or something. And in the back of the financial reset that they want to do, there's a back door to the bankers in space. Now, when she started talking about the triangle this way being feminine, and the triangle this way, the masculine, and door 9 and door 6 and door all this military stuff, where each military is aligned with certain factions, I'm like, oh, this girl here, she's talking about the twin Alices that I've seen, in not only in my dreams or in my walks, and in the sky. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So she's in charge, of the money. And then I had a friend who I thought was a friend that infiltrated my channel from Canada. She said, hey, you need to start type away this information to this lady, Kim Possible. And she gave me a grant so I can start studying, and I'm going to get my own business. And I'm like, you know, they're going to want something from you. And just like that movie that I finally saw, the Moon Knight. Okay, these wannabe, you know, gods, what I call God War. It wants something. They want an avatar because this fight is it's always been like this. Okay, this fight they need to avatars to fight for them.
Absolutely.
Now a lot of people, and it's the Egyptians. You know, it goes back further from Sumeria and all that. It's been going on for a long time. You know, Aldebaran versus, you know, the Alpha Dracos, or Orion versus, you know, it's always a the two factions. Aldebaran with the Alpha Draconis, or the star system of Alpha Draco. So it's all about this whole matrix here on Earth, and in the Phantom Matrix and the Awisadix Matrix that Ashiana Dean talks about, is siphoning the loosh from people. Now there's a new movie in Dune where they talk about the spice, and I figured, oh well, that's the gold. That's the monatomic gold that the gods want to live here. That's our energy. So it's, you know, we all know that it's done through the movie industry, the music, even the super soldiers. We're divided because I started telling them, because I tuned into Max. I'm like, Max, what the hell's going on? You know, why are we fighting? We shouldn't be fighting against each other, blah, blah, blah. And then I was just asking myself questions, studying, and I figured it out. You know, this Nibiru thing that they got going on, you know, and then with this wormwood or doom world coming in, supposedly they say, and we never know, right? But they say, oh, in less than 200 years, there's going to be another cataclysm. And then I figured, okay, that's why CERN, HARP, and DARPA, and all these mother effers with Star Wars and Trump and all this. Oh, we're going to go to the new Earth. We're going to go through the wormhole and take half of Mother Earth and the children. And, you know, it's like, you're not going to, I'm not on my watch. They're not taking the children. They're not taking the animals. They're not, this is, I just do not consent for them to take the, you know,
Right.
super soldiers all through all that. So that's a division that, it's a big mission that I have.
They think that we're done. They think that humanity is finished, and it's a free for all. Anyone can come in and take whatever they want. And there's a mentality like, oh, you're going to destroy yourselves anyhow. We might as well take whatever it is that we can harvest at this time. And so people have to be diligent. They have to be awake, and they have to say no. Your voice is stronger and more powerful. Your will is very strong. And a lot of people think they have to submit. I mean, that's the first thing I've been teaching people for, you know, ever since I started doing this work. You don't have to go along with it. You know, you don't have to be a victim.
Yeah.
Now, I've been through plenty of my labs and all that, but I was 5 years old. I was, you know, young. Not to say that they couldn't do it now, but, you know, if you're more savvy to it, you know what's going on and you can feel it. And especially if been doing your work and you've been meditating and, you know, staying diligent and being aware of your dream space. And even day vision, some people have like glimpses of things. Don't ignore them, write them down. Kind of dig in a little bit and see what it's all about and what their agenda is with you. I mean, this discussion is not for people that are new, that are just like, you know, trying to learn what their chakras are. And I'm not just discarding that. I mean, it's okay.
It's into that. That's mine.
Yeah,
Well,
you know what I'm saying is like, this is not for like the early, you know, learning process of new age teachings. It's another level, and it's you know, having more control about where you're going when you're traveling. Are you getting into war battles? Are you interacting with certain ETs? Are you, you know, what, you know, it's just another advanced level. And so these discussions are important because you know, if we become more and more aware, then more information opens up, and then we are able to assert ourselves a little bit more, be more grounded, and be able to maintain our space as ours, not necessarily open for others to just come in and randomly take and do what they want.
Right. Iris,
Well, I can attest to everything that Jessica is saying, that it's important for us to keep our space clear, because when I first started, I would tell her, I said, yeah, I thought I saw this, he looked like this, he was real nice and that, and she'll say, no, that was a reptilian. I go, really? And she said, yes. I said, well, what do I do? She said, and I learned the revocations from her, how to clear my space. And it is amazing that when you have the intent and you speak with your voice, how you're able to clear your space to get rid of whatever it is that you see. The more you do this, the more, like she said, comes open to you, and you can see more. And therefore, you're able to help family. Or if your friend says, hey, I had a dream and I saw this, you're able to help them clear it. And I know this journey that Jessica has been on is to help others to become more empowered with themselves, to be able to clear themselves and keep, if I can keep myself clear and my group of family clear, and everyone does that, just imagine, you know, how clear and how powerful all of us can be together, how our intent, how strong our intent is to keep our planet, you know, because the fight is real. I have to say that, because if you have people saying, well, this group is gone, those the reptilians are gone, these things are gone, that is not true, because I see it constantly, and this woman has to keep rescuing me, because there are things that I don't see, and I'll see, you know, I'll tell Jessica, hey, this thing looked like my mom, but it didn't act like my mom. She said, no, it wasn't, you know. So yeah, it is real. And I just can't stress that we have to do more and keep educating ourselves, learning our knowledge, and just trying on our own and having confidence in ourselves that we could do it, because we can. I mean,
I agree. I mean, I think we're at a time period where people are finding their own personal power. The personal power is not to cut others down, to try to compete or anything like that. We're all in this together. We are, even those people that they just can't stand me or whatever. I'm like, all right, that's fine, but you're going to find out that I could have helped you, or this could have worked out a little better for everybody. Because right now, you know, people think they have to have their little groups or divisions or anything like that. And it's confusing to the disclosure movement, because they don't know who to listen to. And I have people say, well, I listen to everybody and then I try to sort it out, but they don't really know how to measure things. They don't know how to weigh it out. I said, well, first thing is, if a person lies about one thing, they'll probably lie about many things.
right.
Okay, so how are you going to sort out all those lies? Are you going to wait 5 years down the road just to find out that they weren't telling you everything that was accurate? Or do you want someone that's going to say, hey, listen, you know, and this is something that Peter and I've talked about, is let's come forward and just say, this is the truth of what we're seeing right now. It's the ugly truth. It's not pretty. It's not all love and light. It's not, you know, about making money. It's not about, you know, we're going to excel, you know, in our own way. It's just telling you exactly what's happening right now. And we have made a commitment to tell the truth, whether people like it or not. And even when people get angry at us and then they walk away, or tell us that we're wrong or negative or whatever,
They come back.
They have come back. A lot of them have come back, because then they found out that those that were bringing like this, you know, great movement that's going to happen. And, you know, and I don't want to get on like one group or another, but it's like, you know, there's a plan, or, you know what I mean? Right. And
Yeah,
then nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's plan. I don't know. Are we at plan W now? There's been so many trust the plan. And on this date, this is going to happen. So make sure you have your food and take all your money out of the bank, you know, and it's constant.
I'm like, I'm not going to even do that no more. It's like, yeah, be prepared. I'm not going to give into no fear mongering. No, the guy
Right.
showing his boots on his desk and then JFK is gonna be our president. It's like, okay, I do not consent.
No, it's what you do need to, I mean, I always say, let's find a middle road. All right. So this person's saying that, someone else is saying something else. Does it hurt to have a supply of food in the event of something happen? For example, what's happening with Florida right now? I mean, this is not apocalyptic, although I have seen people say this is an apocalyptic
It happens
hurricane.
every year, Jessica. Even my family in Baja California, they get, with the tsunami, the storms, the tornadoes every year. It's every
Yeah.
year.
It's every year, but so it doesn't hurt to have supplies, to be ready to, I mean, I think if anything in the super soldier movement to have preparedness, I think is really a smart idea. And just like you would be in any situation, because a crisis can hit from all different, aspects. But to the sensationalism, the fear, you want it gets people off balance. So then they start doing extreme things. And some people actually can get hurt, with that kind of information. You
Right.
you tell them all these things are going to happen and they're like, F it, I'm going off and I'm going to go jump off a bridge or something. I mean, I have talked to people that were really right on the edge and they're saying, I just can't take it anymore, and so you have to talk them back off the ledge and tell them everything's going to be right. All right. And here's the one thing that I say to people all the time. Remember, you're an infinite being. You're connected to the divine, and everyone's gonna, we have our cycle of life. Everyone's gonna die at some point. Be at peace with that. So when it does come, fine, but don't get caught up in what all this drama and everything that's going on. Just be ready within your soul. Have your soul clear. Be in truth. Within yourself, and that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to help people. With all the knowledge that we're getting.
Yeah. Thank you. We have to find our power within ourselves, our inner child, because so many of these things happening around us, whether it's religion, sex, pain or pleasure, anything that these, the family of 300, the 13, all those that go up to the pyramid, these extraterrestrials, talking about the loosh again, they just want you all, everyone, all of us to get stuck on something, some ideology. And I'm like, we got to break all those chains. That's why I, along with Iris, we said, I'm going to name it Code Breaker. And then she's like, let's do Code Breaker Real Talk. Let's break those chains. And I didn't even tell her that I said, I'm going to be breaking kryptonite when she did my Thor hammer. So it's like, and it's green, because it has to do with our heart space. It's regaining. What I tell people when I counsel them is, don't ever turn your back on your baby person inside. Because if you turn yourself, against that, or your truth, just to join a clique or a group, then you're doing a disservice to yourself, and you're empowering the group for what? What are you going to get in return? You're going to sell your soul. You're going to lose your life, pretty much your life source. You're going to become a zombie, a backdrop person, or whatever, Mr. Smith, maybe, because you're getting involved with these. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be valored. But if you don't valor yourself and you don't draw the line, you're gonna you guys can get sucked into something that's, what do you want to do? Like, what is your mission? You got to find your mission, because you don't want to go through another life cycle and reincarnate. I'm just saying, for me.
Well, I think this is, can I just tell you something that I think you might find interesting is that I think we all had our life journey, right? So you go through multiple lifetimes, and being an Akashic reader or seeing into past lives, I don't see the whole process as a negative. I know some people do. Oh yeah, you get siphoned, you have to go through it again or whatever. Going through it is a learning experience. The condemnations, the attacks, and all that other stuff is something else. So we're in a reality right now, a context of existence that has intruders that were not always here. So which has changed people from working on their personal experience to stepping up and becoming a part of defense and leadership or military to defend and protect. So a lot of people have shifted. So I had my intentions for being here. I was supposed to do certain things, right? You all had, specific things that you're supposed to do because of the circumstances, just like in a dynamic where suddenly you're launched into a war that you weren't expecting. And the people that were like the young guys that were going to college to become a doctor suddenly find themselves on the front line somewhere, in the military. And it was a point of necessity. And essentially, this is what's happened. And women are not excluded because women have been in all different experiences. So remember, our souls have been all different cultures, races, the genders. And, we've taken on all different types of roles. And so whatever body we're in right now, it's clicking back into the role where we were defending, protecting. And this is the super soldier aspect of what we're experiencing. And some people have a negative idea about what is a super soldier. Super soldiers are those that are hijacked, or they're like some kind of crazy shooter or something like that. It's not true. There are those that are MK Ultra, and there are those that are part of Monarch programming, and so that they were being used for the negative, but they're used against their will. They're mind controlled. When we meditate, we ask to break any and all mind control systems, implants, or anything that is forcing us to do things contrary to our natural free will. And once you get free of all that, you can see your path very clearly. You can actually see, all right, this is the role that I'm supposed to take, or, you actually can see yourself going in and protecting in a certain way.
You're right, Jessica. I feel that every lifetime I'm that dragon, I'm that wolf, I'm that warrior. It's because I have to, I feel like I have to protect and help those that are barely coming online. We'll say barely waking up. The sleeper cells that are waking up. Oh my gosh, I was used in the programs. Like, I don't like it when certain people will just take them in and use their information and then steal it, run with it, and then they're left dry.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That's what happens. Yeah, they lose. When you lie about your experience and you don't tell the truth about who you are and what you're not just lying to the public, but also you're lying about to yourself. And then you're preventing the truth. You might be someone absolutely amazing, but instead you focused on someone else's story, someone else's recall. I've had people take my recall and say, this is my recall. And I'm like, well, why are they doing that?
Talked about that one.
and you know what? If they just embraced who they were, it might be something really helpful to everyone. But because they got into this other mode and they refused to do their own personal work, that they missed out. They missed out not for the other people that they've kind of strayed or took in the wrong direction, but also that they're hurting others and they're hurting themselves and they're losing their purpose. So that gets diluted, it gets washed away. And then here we are again, still trying to get people into the right direction from all the distortions. Yeah, it's not easy, but we're doing it, I believe.
I want to mention when you talked about reincarnation, the Akashic records, and us coming here regarding our karma. I would like to say that my youngest son, he's on the spectrum of autism, and I believe that he was sent to me to teach me things. Because of him, I learned patience. I learned how to listen. I learned how to be more considerate, and I actually learned to be more loving and open. And I learned how to express myself so that others can hear me. So he's a young man now, but just the presence of him being my son has helped me to learn a lot. And with those skills that I learned because of him, I'm able to be a better listener to other people. I have people come and talk to me and they'll say, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I just met you. We're standing in the grocery store. And I said, it's okay, you know. And I find that because, like I said, because of the things that I learned from him, I am now helping others, with maybe something they need to heal with, or they didn't understand. Because it's another set of eyes. It's someone who's been through it. So, and I know I keep saying, because I learned this from Jessica, but I have to say, she helped me, because if there was something going on with my son, I just send her a text message and she would respond, like that day. And I know she's very busy, has a lot of people that she talks to, and it's because she has love for him, you know. And I always think I'm bothering her or something. She says, no, you're not. She says, just send it and I'll look at it. This is who I deal with. And I love her. I think I'm going off on a tangent. And I would just love for others to learn what I have learned from her and through her, because she can teach us a lot. And I've just been sponging off of her. Let's put it that way. And that's about the best way I can explain it. I was, was able to go to that next level to learn more about myself and what was really going on in this world. And it's because of her. And that information I'm happy to spread forward.
Thank you, Iris. Is it okay to respond, Vanessa?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
called you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Veronica, sorry.
Don't worry.
I'm very moved by that. Thank you, Iris. And your son is amazing. I mean, he's really. I mean, he is right on the ball, and astrally, he is all over the place. He is amazing. He's a super soldier, and there's a lot of people a lot of soldiers that are on the spectrum. There's quite a few. They are so attuned, and so it makes you wonder. So, and under our definition here, they have maybe a learning disability or something that is challenging them, but from the astral point, they are spot on. They are very meticulous. They know exactly where they're going, what they're doing, and actually, when I get around autistic kids, I'm like on guard, because I know that they know that, that kind of thing, and they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And there's quite a few that times that we've had discussions, and that he's pretty much blown me away, and you've done a wonderful job in showing him a lot of things, and you got a lot of heart, but you're also very, very gifted yourself.
Thank you.
The one thing I do want to tell people, because I know a lot of people says, oh, Jessica never got back to me. I do read people's messages, and I don't write back to everybody. Sometimes all of a sudden things start happening and I can't get back to them. But I will tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this honestly. Every single person that says I'm having a hard time, I believe I was a soldier, I believe something, I literally send out energy to them to be able to get whatever they can. If I can't get back to them, or if something happens where I forget or whatever, I try to cover them with love, help them gain their strength and get on their feet, or to have more enlightenment, or I'll tell the Council of Five that they need help or whatever. And or I'll say something to Peter, and Peter might say something to me, and then I'll try to get back to them. But I don't disregard people's messages. So, and everyone is important as much as I can respond back.
Mhm. She does.
Thank you, Jessica. You've helped me too, so thank you. The other day I had Fire Horse on, and we were talking about the just going on, because I've been wanting to ask these questions. Do you all remember? I gave a class on the bloodlines where Superman is made, and he's placed in this star that has 6 how do you say, picos, pointers on the
Mhm.
top and on the bottom. So 12, meaning the 12, us, our bloodlines. And And later on in the movie, this may be the second or third one, the, we'll say reptilians or Anunnaki, whoever, the bad guys, you know, in black, are placed in this mirror, like, and it's flat and it's
Oh,
float in space. And then later on in another movie, boom, it smashes and then they come again and, you know, all that stuff. Well, I was asking Firehorse, I was telling him, look, there's the black satellite, there's Black Rock. They even have a Black Rock coffee shop here. You know, black satellite for black cube in Saturn. Okay, there's a yellow cube, and then there's a blue cube that I saw under Antarctica. And they're the blue beings that are taking care of that. And all those line up from Saturn to the moon to Earth, and it has to do with the pyramids here. Okay, the Nephilims in Saturn, Aleister Crowley. I had to deal with him when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
About it many times. So I was talking to Firehorse about this, and he sent me a message saying the dark satellite is a jailhouse for demons. Then I heard this other guy on, I don't remember his name, but on Miles Johnson's show just last week, he said that in Jupiter, Jupiter, I believe, or Saturn, there's a specific, the North Pole of that planet is holding these particular demons. So I'm pretty sure there are different jails, we'll say. And the kind of hard time that I have a little sometimes is with the Ashana Dean thing, where she says that some of the Odetacrons and some of the other reptilians, the good beings, the good, we'll call them Giovanni Elohai Elohims. Some of them got stuck during the wars that we were doing here, because remember at one point we were all dragons. So, or other species, right, fighting these wars. So my thing is, okay, we're supposed to not only help save the children, the innocents, you know, people here, but in other matrices. And I'm like, is it going to be another thing like Aleister Crowley where he used me and others to take out the 72 jinns? It's like, what is it going to be? Is it going to be like that? Is it true that some beings that are good and got stuck there? And you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a bigger war than what we think. It's a bigger
Right.
than what we think.
Well, all the parallels are connected, and all these other existences are connected. And the way that Peter has been operating with the ACIO is he'll actually go over to one of these realities and see what happened. And some of them are really, you know, horrible. Like, you know, they can only live underground. Their air quality, everything that they had, you know, bioweapons, nuclear, EMPs,
like that
the
metro reality.
yeah, that metro reality is a combination reality. And he said it was so horrible that, you know, they couldn't wait to get out of there. He's in this other reality now. He keeps on going into all these different realities. And there's been times where he's called me and he's like breathing, like, you know, like he's like completely messed up. I don't even know how he exists. And on top of that, people say, well, you know, how does he eat? He's a breatharian, so he doesn't really eat much food. I mean, really, you know, it's just like, yeah, of course he needs water and everything. But some of the crazy stuff, I mean, I know that people think it's kind of cool what he does, but think about how, you know, the devotion that he has of going to all these different locations just to see what's actually happening. And maybe he likes the journey of, you know, curiosity of seeing what he's going to encounter there. But there's times when he says, I need to get out of here. Can you help me? So I do what I can to help, and then and, you know, provide any information that we can find. It is a multiverse of experiences. And I like that you brought up Aleister Crowley, because I probably want to hear a little bit more about your involvement with Aleister Crowley, because that being that he communicated with has recently showed up. I mean, I do sessions with people all the time.
Is
Lamb.
it Azazel?
No, the one called Lamb.
Mhm.
Lam. Do you want me
Uh,
to find it and share it?
yeah, because
It's a freaky looking thing. It's all white. It's got a
oh,
weird head.
go ahead, because that memory that I have, I was a little girl and they had our hair, all of us little kids, our hair chopped off, and we all had blonde hair, wearing a white gown. And I've told Iris about this, and
You know, I'm looking for the picture I drew of him.
oh, good. I was looking. We had to look at this thing. He had like a goat head or some crap. I don't know if it was Baphomet or what the hell. And then behind him there was a red wall, painted red. And behind there, that's where they took us for sacrifices. On the kind of okay, like if you see that movie Eyes Wide Shut with Tom
Mhm.
and freaking Nicole Kidman. I'm just getting heart palpitations just thinking about it. But anyway, it had to do with staring at this thing and summoning this thing to come out, and then later on I find out it's 72 jinns to deal with Nessie, and Nessie's not even a being, it's like an artificial intelligence stuff, you know, like. And Peter the Insider says they took me at 1 year and 8 months. I thought they took me at 3 years. He said no, they took you at 1 year and 8 months. They used you inside the wormholes and the portals, and it had to do with those Merkovich and all those freaking German and Russian doctors that they had kicked out. It had to do with the book.
You mean Murkoff?
That one. He said that
Yeah.
worked on me. So anyway, I've been part of Project Kruger. Even my daughter's being trained for that, and my son. So it's been hard because all this time I thought I was a little loony. I've been in a psych ward twice, and it's like, no, this stuff is real. Like, you know, and I started talking about it. So yeah, go ahead and show me. Oh, that's the Aleister Crowley guy.
That's Lamb. LAM. That's what he was referring to as. I think there's a little gray man that he called the Cult of Lamb.
That one right there. With
He kept showing up around
Show you
people.
something. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you what my daughter drew around me. One moment.
Okay.
But
So
keep talking, Jessica.
okay, so you know, let's take a look at what this is, because people that don't know who Aleister Crowley is, most people do, they know that he was, you know, part of this cult. And he actually had a house in New Hampshire. And I went to visit it with some friends. And then about, I don't know how many months later, I started seeing this lamb showing up around my friends. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. Because he really wasn't a good being. Here's some of the pictures of him, and let me see if I can get a description. It's kind of you can see his head is kind of odd. Let's see if this article brings up a little bit. Let's see. The drawing, commonly referred to as Lamb, LAM, has been thought of for decades to be a drawing of an entity Aleister Crowley contacted around 1918. Many people, beginning with Kenneth Grant, have pointed out that it has similar appearance to the images of so-called gray aliens, which started to crop up in popular culture in 1960s. But is there any good reason to believe this? I mean, I believe this is who he saw and who he contacted.
Can I show you a picture that my daughter drew?
Yeah, let me just pull out the share, and there you go. Yep.
And then
Yeah, so the psychedelics, the mushrooms.
this right there is the one that I've been on. I've been on when I was like 3, and they took me, and they had like these big eyes like that, like big black. They had like really tight hair. One of them was very tall female in a like lavender suit. The other one was in a green suit, and the other one was in a blue suit. And there was a bunch of children with me. So my mom would hit me a lot because she couldn't find me. I was like 3 years old, and she said I would disappear outside. She didn't know where I was.
Oh,
And I would go to the next door neighbor. They had like a little kids pool, and then I think there was a kidnapping or sex ring there with kids, because I was one day I was helping her fold clothes, and I'm like, I was little. I was like 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. And I said, how come you have so many underwear of kids and so many clothes? And then the lady looked at me and she scolded me, and I was afraid to go over there, you know. And I used to watch Poltergeist a lot. Even when I was 3 or 4, I'd wake up, turn on the TV, my mom says, and I would just sit there in front of the TV. There's just nothing there. It's just snow. I don't know. It's just, I know we can go through portals in the TVs. Like I said, I was used in the wormholes. I was using the dolphin program. So I don't know. This guy, could it be Lamb?
yeah, it could be Lamb, and he was not nice.
Here, I'll show you a picture of how he showed up.
Yep.
That's him.
Closer, Mama, to the camera. Like
Where am I go? Oh, up here?
yeah, right there. Oh wow, that's that's gross.
And
Yeah,
he hovers over people. He's just like in the background. It's really weird. And I think he projects thoughts to people. I was trying to understand what he was doing, but he's trying to influence, and he had some kind of agenda, but I wasn't sure what the agenda was.
Because ever since I could remember, I have thoughts in my head. Sometimes they're screaming at me. Sometimes
Yep.
it's nonstop, Jessica. And they had me on when the whole near death experience happened, when the shooting happened. Um, I was put on so many medications, put in psych ward twice, and finally 4 years ago I stopped taking all that medication. And there was like 12 medications I was on. Okay, and I weaned myself off. It was horrible, but I did it. Um, but to this day, I hear these voices, and they're yelling at me. They're saying, you should do this. And what if you do that? And what if you kill this person that way? And what if you know, stupid shit like that? I'm like, I rebuke you. Like, I do not consent. That is not
Yeah.
my thought form. Return to sender, you know. I do the whole mirror thing, fractal mirrors, sending it back to them. It's like, leave me the F alone. Like, I'm not going to stop, you know, and I have really bad anxiety. I hardly sleep. I haven't slept for 2 days. And it's been a tough life. So I'm pretty sure there's others like me that, you know,
I
because
think,
I'm a
yeah,
I'm a psychic medium. I help people, but then they attack me, and I'm like, leave me the F alone. I'm gonna keep doing this. Go ahead.
but that's the whole thing, that when I used to tell people, I'm putting myself out there for you, that I'll end up getting the kickback for whatever, freeing you from something or helping you to free yourself. And it's not fun. You have to really be equipped for this. And a lot of people that do this work get beat up. You get psychologically, astrally beat up. And so, I know plenty of people. I've worked with, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of psychics throughout the years. A lot of them have health issues. Many of them have health issues because of being in the astral place, and the astral beings do not like to be observed.
No, they don't. And then I use what they call the magic eye or whatever, especially when I haven't slept, because you're out of freaking body. When you don't sleep, you're out of body.
Right? Yes, you are. Yeah.
I see so many things, and it's like, are you freaking looking at me? Seriously? Like, I'll see these things in pictures, and people, I'll go to people's houses and help them, and then I'm in the bathroom seeing in the curtain. Seriously, you guys are here too? Like, you would think a person like that they want to keep in the psych ward, because they don't want us to tell the people that what they are seeing is real. Why do so many people get stuck in the whole alcoholism, the whole pornography thing, the whole, because they're trying to get away from these demons, but then they're getting more stuck on them. So it's
Well, the whole you know, psychological issues and the Freudian teachings, and a lot of this came up, I would say, around the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they were already experimenting on people. And anyone that doesn't fit in with society would, you know, fall under that category of having psychological issues. And so even it's a part of the mud flood process, you know, where they, you know, want to reset everything. Those that know too much, you know, kind of stigmatize, you know, who they are, you know, set them apart, make sure that they're not listened to or respected. You know, still there were some people that, you know, kind of came through as spiritualists, or people that were having certain experiences, and then with celebrities and people like uh Houdini, you know, looking for his mother, which opened things up for a lot of psychics showed up. And so there's a history behind having people put in facilities. And there's a history of experimentation happening. So and during World War II, the Japanese took prisoners, and they would try new experiments on them. And they wanted to see, you know, responses. During World War II, the Nazis did the same thing. Prior to that, we've had facilities that would take in orphans and experiment on them.
yeah, even the Book of the Dead, Max Spears was saying that the Book of the Dead from the Egyptian pharaohs even would teach people how to do MK Ultra, even back then.
Yeah, I have that book.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta read it.
It's
You know, the
something.
Terror
Yeah.
Papers, right? We talked about that in class too. The Terror Papers, I got it right here.
Mhm.
It's like 42, 43 pages.
Terror Papers.
They talk about going to church, brainwashing them. Every 7 days, the Adapas and the Adamas would have to go to this facility where they were being MK Ultra. What is that today? That is church. Every 7 days, you got to go get brainwashed. You know what I mean?
Scientology.
I
There's
was
a lot of different
yeah,
groups.
my aunt took me to California. She invited me. She's like, hey, I want you to come. This is when I was in the Army Reserves. And she's like, I want to take you to the Church of Scientology. I'm like, what's that? And I didn't know what they were doing to me. They had me on these little prongs here measuring whatever. And then she took me to the class and she introduced me to people. And then anytime I would yawn, she would say, oh, you have to read that word again because you're not understanding it. And she says, I want you to go with me to Mexico. She told me this 7 years ago. I want you to go with me to Mexico because over there they can clear you. And I'm like, what do you mean clear me? And she explained, oh, you know, they put you, you're going to have to be with nobody around. It's a doctor facility. They're going to have to lock you in there to observe you and then put you in this dehydration, like a sauna, and give you juices. And I'm like, I got scared. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
That's when I woke up. And I'm like, all these years I'm being used for that, you know, and I do not consent anymore. And I even stopped talking to my cousin like 3 weeks ago. Something happened in the astral, I believe, because it led through here. We were having a conversation, and all of a sudden she was mad at me, and I'm like, "So what? You're not going to talk to me anymore?" And she hasn't talked to me. She's her daughter from Scientology. So I feel my father was a sacrifice because he committed suicide when I was 13, and his one of his brothers, one of my uncles, he got taken to work to NASA and to do the drilling of the oil, which we know as the black goo, in Spain. And he gave his back to our family. And I strongly believe that my father was that sacrifice, and I was going to be next because I was the first one. And that's what I find. Celeste and I were talking the other day. She says, "So is it the firstborn?" I'm like, pretty much. If the genes and the frequency and all that is good with the firstborn, pretty much is the firstborn that's targeted. They go, if that body or frequency is there's something wrong, they go to the next child, and if that's wrong, they go to the next. But it's always the firstborn. That's what I see, you know. And
So
anyway,
that's interesting. You said that about your father. So your father passed when he was 13. Mine died when I was 12. So it was around the same age. And my father was in the programs, according to Peter.
wow, this is I want to find out about my dad because my my mother, everybody knows my story. My mother started having an affair, and then my father, he, he started cutting himself, and I witnessed that. And then I'm like, okay, what's going on? So then the next thing I know is that he shot himself in Nogales, Arizona. So my uncle, the other uncle of my father, later on in my life, told me that my mother had hired her cousin, who was a psychiatrist at the time, to give my father medication when he was not crazy. My mom would say, well, I got scared because one day your dad said that the sun was chasing him and he was scared of the sun. And so ever since, and then so my dad even escaped from the psych ward, and he tried to work things out with my mom. My mom wouldn't let us see him. And then my mom was about to off us, my two sisters and myself, after my dad did that. She said, I came home one day from school. I was 14. And she says, I was going to kill you all and then kill myself. But then I saw this thing on TV where this lady drowned her kids. And then I felt sorry for you. And I'm like, what's going on with my family?
Sounds like they're MK'd or something. Yeah.
So there's a reason, and we have a big mission here, and we have to talk about these things. We have to help keep people heal from that. There's too many secrets in families, especially, the Italian and Hispanic, and it's like, we gotta,
You're part Italian
yeah,
as well?
Italian. I have Merovingian bloodline, French on both sides, German on both sides, last name Fisher on my mom's, and then I have Persian blood, and then I have my great great grandmother was from Dominican Republic, so I'm a mix. So that's why I always say I think I have the 48 bloodlines. I have the 48 DNA strands, because why are they so much after me? Why have I been experimented so much on? Why is
But
my
you're strong though. But look at you. Doesn't matter what they do.
yeah,
They throw all sorts of stuff at you and you're strong.
yeah, we're gonna keep going. That's not the problem. It's just an everyday anxiety thing. Every day I gotta, I help people as much as I can, like you. And Iris has been so good to me too, because I have that. I had to be in special classes since I was a kid, and she listens to me a lot, and I appreciate her, and I appreciate you.
Iris is a beautiful person. She's just a good soul. And I'm gonna come over because I heard she's a pretty good cook.
Ooh, girl,
I will be throwing down. Is that how you say it? I sure will. I sent her some pictures. I said, hey, this is what I'm making. She's like, oh, okay. How can I come here?
Yeah, last Halloween, what was it? Last October, you were making something so good for your family, somebody's birthday. I'm like, shoot, I want to go over.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Make from scratch. So we will get to do that. I did want to bring up about, and this is my experience, because I know a lot of people talk about this Archangel Michael, but I have to say, every time I've seen this aspect of him, it has never been positive. So I want to say that a lot of people in this love and light thing, they believe, I'm sure that on some level there is probably the real Archangel Michael, but then there are other aspects out there of him, and they wreak havoc. And those, they've popped up in my space so many times. And I think it's just some handsome guy, or, and I did something the other night and he came at me. So he's pretty busy. That's about it. I just want to put that out there, that there are aspects out there of him, and they're nefarious.
Yeah. Archangel Michael came to me about 3 months ago. I did a video on it. I said hackers and wannabe angels or something. I named it. He was here in my living room, very tall, like almost 7 feet tall, blonde, beautiful. And he had this thing across his chest that it was like a lanyard, and then he had this machine that it was black and yellow. And he started kissing me. He took me to my room right here, and he wanted me to do some stuff to him. And I said, oh, hell no, I do not consent. And there was this alien looking gray thing too in the bedroom watching us, and then another one in the living room not letting me, leave my place. And he also was wearing a black and yellow thing on him. So I'm thinking they freeze time with those things, or something. And I said, I do not consent to astral sex. I do not consent with any angels. I don't care if it's Archangel Lucifer, because Lucifer's more beautiful than Archangel Michael. Let me tell you, I've been with him. But I'm like, no, no more.
Well, I think in all honesty, because I have a recall of being with the angels, because I was Ariel and Archangel Ariel, and I had full blown out recall memory just sitting there, just completely blew me away. And I was exploring, trying to figure out different methodologies, because I was going through doing regressions and going through all these different situations to try to have recall. This is years ago. And so I said, I'm going to go to Scientology and see what that process was about. And I'm sitting back in the chair and they're saying, all right, go to the next memory that reminds you of that emotion or feeling. Their process was really good. It was very, very good. What they do afterwards and contact you, want you to buy this, want you to go to this club, that's a whole other thing. But, L. Ron Hubbard did figure out something that was pretty amazing in their process of following the emotion or the feeling. And so I'm sitting back, and before you know it, I'm given full detail of being amongst the angels, and also where there was a division in the beginning of the war. And the guy's sitting there with his mouth hanging open. And then what else happened? And then what else happened? and here I am, like in this space, I'm like, oh shit, I'm here. I said, I'm right here, and I'm going through all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, now I know what happened. And I also know what I did is they said, you're going to have to take a side. And I said, in my mind, I will never turn on one of my brothers. Right. And because we're all male.
Yeah. Yep.
And I stood there, and I turned to my right, and all of a sudden half of them turned and looked at me, and their eyes were red, like they had been infected by something. And I said, oh, I think I'm in trouble. And before I knew it, the scene shifted, and there I am in a smaller room. And they said, you are amongst a group that didn't take a side. And they said, so for that reason, you'll have the ones that went for the good, or went for, made one decision, are not going to like you, and the other group won't like you either. And I said, well, that makes sense. I mean, my life has been interacting with these angels and explain, telling them why I didn't take that side is because I felt like I wanted to be neutral at that point. And then I started to find Archangel Michael, not because I was looking for him. And you're right, he can be very beautiful, but he also is very vain, and all the stuff that he says that Lucifer does is what he does.
He thinks he could do it better than Lucifer. I'm like, baby, Lucifer got it down pat. Don't mess with that boy.
Lucifer, the only thing Lucifer did was he said, I don't want to have any part of this, and he left.
Yeah.
He really did. He just left. And then the others he left before the others got contaminated. I think he could see Michael was in charge of everything. He had this enormous ego. Everyone loved him. Everyone thought he was beautiful. He was beautiful. I've seen him flying with his wings and it's just like, wow, that's amazing. And then you look and it's like, no, you're not amazing anymore.
Yeah.
Not, because he betrayed the angels. Yeah. He betrayed all of them. He does all this dark stuff. He blames it on Lucifer, the devil, or whatever. He does a lot of bad things. Not that I have just said, oh, I don't like him, and I have like a disagreement with it. Nothing like that. I literally just, over the years working with people and looking and seeing something happen, I'm saying, who the hell's doing that? And I realized it was Michael.
Yes.
Over and over and over again for years. Yes. And then I'm watching all these people giving him all this loosh, this power, so he's just like walking around like, I can get away with doing anything I want to do. And I'll just blame it on Lucifer.
Right.
Even
as a police officer, I don't know if Iris, if they gave you one, but they gave me a medal of Archangel Michael and Lucifer, you know, killing.
Yes, because of the police force, right?
You know, and then now they have. I'd rather trust Lucifer more than you, Michael. But I don't ask for help. I do not ask anybody for help. I don't care how many times I got to do it by myself. You know, I'm not gonna ask the angels for help. I don't.
Well,
Because
there's a devil too, you know what I mean? There's a whole other group of beings that were dark that are not angels.
right.
And so those are there's multiple devils, if you want to call them that,
Well,
bad
ones that
entities.
work for money or for whatever they want, the ones that look like the one that they think it's Satan, you know, the one red with the horn, that's
Yeah.
a mercenary. He'll get paid whatever. He don't care. As long as I get paid, I'll go left or right, good or bad. You know, that
Yeah. Those are like the satyrs and the demons. They have that with the horns and all that other stuff. Yeah. It's crazy. It's, you know, and I'm not like an advocate of Lucifer or anything like that, or the connotations that they have on him. I know that there were disagreements and there were things that happened and that are not related to the human experience, because it's a whole different paradigm. It's a different race of beings. It's just another experience. While I'm here in this body, I'm judged as a human, you know, because I'm in a physical body. If Michael were in a physical body, he'd be judged as a human.
yes.
If they stayed out and they maintained an angelic form, then they're under a different rules, guidelines, or whatever, and have to be dealt accordingly. But they should know better. They know better.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what I see is see that's the thing with me. It's like what am I in reality? Who am I? You know, I always say, well, I'm Andromeda, Traveler 1800. I'm a galaxy, baby. I'm a star. But I know I'm something else because there's so much that I've learned, so many oppositions. I have to stay neutral because I was going on one side, right? Like, oh, we gotta do this and all, you know, with the other super, so we got no. So what I've been seeing since I was in the Vegas conference is I was telling Iris, oh, I don't want to name any names, but you know Max Spears, right? I feel in my heart that I took over that light because the Archangel Michael is with the James Caswell. With the Draco, starts with an M too. Michael Draco. All that lineage, the peanut butter and jellies, right? She'll tell you later what I mean by that, right, Iris? But it's tough, man. It's tough because so many people were calling me all kinds of names and everything, and then they come back and say, I'm sorry, do you still love me? You were right. And I'm like, it's not because I want you to tell me that I was right. No, I warned you, but you had to go find out. I'm not about choosing sides either. I just, like Max says, at the end, you're gonna have to choose what's gonna happen. Like, yes, we have to stay neutral, but ultimately, were you called to fight for humanity? First of all, were you called
Right.
for this such a time as this? Well, baby, I'm here for such a time as this. And another thing that I see, that bright star that comes up, they call it the North Star. I feel I remote viewed, you know, so in the moon, the dark side of the moon is connected to this star, which is actually like a station, like a space station that is also connected to Saturn, to Earth, to Saturn. Okay, so it's like a triangle. That is, I see a space station there. And then in the dark side of the moon, not only do we have the military lunar complex, whatever they call it, but they also have these beings that are hologram, military people that could be hologram pretending to wear wings to visit people, you know, in their dreams or in their astral or during their awake time, what we call awake time, influencers. I did have an experience in 2017 when I had the huge awakening where I was looking for Archangel Michael. I was looking them up and I'm like, what the heck? And then I started, you know, doing the hex removal. And one time I did a hex removal on my daughter and I did the whole dance thing that I do because I do a lot of things. And not necessarily that I have to do all of them. It's just that whatever particular one comes up that I have to do that day, I do it. So I'm going with my shawl and I'm singing, going around her, and she says, "Mom," she's on the floor. She's like, she wasn't feeling good. And I took something out of her, and then she said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, I just saw a like a bluish like a turquoise color." I'm like, "Oh, that must be Archangel Michael," you know. And then later on, I was looking, well, who is that guy? You know, I know him. And I'm at the mall looking at stuff on my phone. And then I go to the restroom. I come out of the restroom. There's this old man, shorter than me, with the blue, like blue gray fedora hat, with the blue gray suit. He has a big old cross here, and it has a crown. It says he reigns. Got a Bible right here. And then he comes up to me, big old glasses, and I look at him and I'm like, "Do I know you?" And we hugged, and he went like that to me. And he says, "I love you." And I said, "I love you too, sir." He walked away. I'm like, who the heck was that in a fedora? To this day, I'm like, dude, was that Archangel Michael or what? Is that the tall whites that are, also taking care of me? So it's like, I don't know, dude. This is just crazy. Like, we think that it doesn't happen, that it's just in the movies, but our astral will bleed through to our personal life, and we will know when, I don't know, sometimes when we're older, that's when we know, when we become more wise, where what our true mission is. Like you said in the beginning, Jessica, you're like, well, I think I'm here for this, and then you're like, oh crap, well, now I was in the military.
Well, yeah, the plan changes. The plan changes. Yeah, I didn't have any idea I was going to get involved with any of the military operations. And Peter sort of showed up, and he kept on contacting me. I need to share a message. I'm like, okay. Really wasn't sure where it was going, and I if you asked me if we'd be continuing to do this work over all these years, I would have been, a little stunned by it. But now I understand that was the purpose had changed and brought me to this point. But as far as like, if you have an awareness of a being in the astral, and then someone shows up, and you're like, wait a minute, it's almost like they're acknowledging that they were there. And we were looking at there's this whole teaching on this god, this ancient god by the name of Janus, Janus. And Janus is two-faced. He has two faces, sometimes four faces. And he's not very trustworthy, but he is the god of gates. And there was a guy that did a fantastic job. He has a channel on YouTube, and he discusses it in thorough. And he's like, he kept all these different pieces together. And I'm like, wow, what an amazing example. So, we've been talking about Janus, and I was out with some of my friends. And so we went to this restaurant, and this waiter comes up, and he's like, kind of animated. And then after we'd say something, he was bowing to us, and we're like, what's going on with this kid? And he says, by the way, my name is Nick. So he said, Nick, that's weird. All right. So now,
like 6'6", Nick 6'6".
6'6". All right. So that's interesting. So my friend, who was sitting on the other side, because I was facing the wall, he was facing, the rest of the restaurant. And every time this guy would turn on, he's a young kid, he had his hair like shaved around, so you can like see, it almost looked like he had this piece of hair up here, right? Whatever he's trying to do, right? Like almost like the monk, right? They shave their head. And then the back, he had this thing, it looked like a mustache on the back, and then two eyes. So you were looking at, when he walked away, he said, my friend said to me, it looks like he's got a face behind in the back of his head.
Face.
I mean, who does that, right? So now his name is Nick, and he's got two faces. And we were talking about Janus. And it's like, it's astrally, they will show up in a weird way and let you know that they know that you're talking about them, and then that they're aware. It's not like paranoia or anything like that. I mean, literally, you have this awareness that they were there and you kind of know it was them. But then if you go and talk to them afterwards, they have no idea. But my friend went to take a picture of it. When he had his back facing us, he took the picture, and I think the Nick saw it, right? And so that guy got very sick. He got really sick. So it was almost like we didn't give you permission to take a picture. And we've had multiple incidences like this, multiple.
That's why I always tell people, like, when I look at the ships, I'll take 3 pictures. And if they don't want me to take it, I will ask, because I'll know, like, we're very telepathic with these ships. It's like, no, that's just for you to see me. Because I will see writings in the air. I will see letters. I will see coordinates, not only up in the sky, but in my astral, because I'm part of the Stargate program. And so I'm like, at first when they started showing up, I'm like, am I going nuts? Like, what? And I would write them down. Real quick, before we finish off, I have a few things here. As far as like things that appear outside, I'll do something good, or I'll be thinking of something, or something really good happen, and then I'll go outside and walk Lola or whatever, and I'll find things on the floor. I've had many dreams where, I'm in the old church when I was, because I was Catholic and Christian. I'm in the choir room, and then the pastor's there. He has me talk to the people there. And then I go outside and I'm like, okay, I'm saying bye to the church because I'm no longer going to be there. There's the pastures, green pastures, then there's the hills. And then there's these kids that drop their money bag everywhere in front of me. And I'm like, okay, so let me go help them pick up all the money. And then they're in a little RV, in a little trailer. And I said, come on, let's go outside and play. And, oh no, my father's going to get mad at us if we don't pick up all the money. We can't leave. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I said, I'm going to protect you. And this dream was in 2017. And for the past 3 years, when I go walk Lola or I'm outside, I'll find money, like coins. Last year I found $600 at the casino, and I wasn't even playing. I only had $3 to play. I only played, that, but I found $600 on the floor. I was able to, pay some bills or whatever, and give some money to my family, whatever. But when you're, like you said, when you're talking about something, when you want to manifest, like truly in your heart, it'll happen, and you'll get confirmations out there and in your dreams. I just had 2 things here. Phoenix Lights. I know I'm a part of the Phoenix Lights. I know that I have memories with James Caswell and Max going under the dumps. I have a memory with John Lear. And memories being in Mars, fighting in Mars. And I was supposedly the only survivor, but I remember taking one of my friends, his name is Johnny. He hasn't been on my channel yet, but I remember grabbing him because he wanted to go and help save our friends and everybody there in Mars. And I said, we can't, Johnny, we gotta go. So I, take him to my ship. I drop him off where he has to be dropped off. Now this memory that comes up, it's from a lady that said that she had to pick me up because I was blown away. Half of my face, my arm, both my legs were blown out. And this was during the Mars thing. And that a certain person that's in Not Walfin didn't have time to pick me up. So she had to pick me up. And then that I told her that I didn't want to go, that she said I was looking at these beautiful flowers. And I kept telling her, just leave me here, I'm done. She said, no, I'm taking you. So she picked me up and took me to my star family. Now that I don't remember, but I know I was in Mars. I know I've had to deal with the Dracula bloodline because they put it in me, and the werewolf bloodline, the Draco, and the mermaid. So can you tell me about the Phoenix Lights? Because I know I'm a part of that, and I just see the red. And in 2017, I took some pictures. I was hiking at night, and there was these red lights coming at me, and there was nothing there. You know what I mean?
Throughout the time that we've been talking, and from the beginning of our discussion, I kept seeing you in this long robe, like it's like a dark burnished orange color. I don't know how to describe it. It's not
Oh,
like a
that's
bright
Elka.
orange.
That's probably Elka, my male altar.
No, you were female.
Oh, okay.
It was long, it was down to your feet, kind of bell sleeves. And there were these like ruffle type of thing around your neck. Your hair was shorter and kind of curly, like you've had in the past. And it was more of like a light brown with a little bit of red hair color. And you were part of this council. So when you went into the dome, they were going to do some work on you. They were going to experiment on you, and you got pulled out by the council. They protected you.
Okay, this must be when I had the shooting incident. Because my mother said, because I died for 3 days, okay? I was in the hospital, died for 3 days.
Right.
My mom said that it was horrible, that they had me under the basement. They had me in the basement.
Yep.
She said it was ugly down there. And I said, why would the hell would they have me in the basement? Then I was hearing Max Spears saying that the lower that they have us, the lower the dimension our energy goes. So they can mess with us.
Right. Right.
Waking up in the hospital, seeing like 20 doctors around me in this white light. And then they stuck the thing on my left side here because my lung had collapsed. And when they did that, I screamed. And the only thing I remember is them putting the black velvet thing on my face, on my lips, so I wouldn't scream. And then that's when I had the out of body experience. I told you I saw the demons. To me they were demons. I got up, I was in my robe, I'm like in my the hospital. I'm like, what the hell am I doing in the hospital? And there was these beings that were cut in half. They were gray, they were charcoal, black and blue.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Yellow eyes, jagged haircut, black, all the same, short haircut, cut in half on my monitors and on the floor. Like, what the hell? And I walked over them because I didn't want to step on them because they were still awake looking at me like that. I'm like, where am I? And in the door, I saw the white light and I said, shit, I got to go find a doctor and nurse to help me. What the hell what am I doing here? So I opened the door. I'm back in my room. The demons are gone, whatever they are. And in the corner is my father. I don't know to this day if he's my father or not, but my friends keep telling me that's my father. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it was Alia Bob or whoever the fuck trying to, get me to come back here. So
Yeah, it feels like it was your father.
huh?
It feels like it was your father. Yeah.
And I knew it was my dad, but then through the years, I'm like, man, I just don't bow down to anything, baby. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what group that you were from with that road, because it felt like you were part of a council, but I'm not quite sure which council. It feels like it's
the Council of Nine,
you weren't with the Council of Five or anything. It was a separate council, but you came here for a certain purpose, and then it got derailed, and then you got targeted, and then everyone wanted you to work for them.
yes.
I did see you with that whole point where part of your body was blown off, but then they would wipe your memory and enhance you and try to use you for something else. But what happens is when they try to take you into Monarch or these other programs, you kind of blow them out. They don't they don't know what to do with you. Which is good, because the rebel comes out at the right time, and I think it's because that you're not supposed to be there, and have a sense of knowing who you are in that area. And the council, you were here to I don't think it wasn't just observer, but actually here to assist a specific group. And then I think there was the betrayal. I think there was something else that happened. And so that sense of the ones that are betraying you are being influenced by the same ones that betrayed you when you first got here.
Tell me that again, because when you said that, the betrayal, I got flashbacks of the ex with the betrayal that I had with my ex-husband, and it just it feels like a bleed through. Like they had to do that to me to try and kill me again. So tell me again.
Yeah, it is. It's a way to get you, disable you. That it's your weakness, and when you understand what your weakness is, then you can strengthen yourself so that you're not vulnerable in that area anymore.
That's why I shut my Stargate down. I don't date no more. I see a man, I run the other way because I know my power. My power is to stay celibate. That's my power. And
Well, you made it there. You're supposed to be with someone of your counsel, and you haven't really.
I don't think he's here on Earth.
Yeah, they're here. There's more than one. But they also respect that you're not ready until the right time, until you have released some of the old injuries of that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but meanwhile, the nasty ones are still around a bit, and they are really good at creating betrayals around you. So that's the part you need to defeat.
Yes, I agree.
And the people that they use, they don't even know they're being used. They're like empty vessel, not empty vessels, but vulnerable, and they're not fully in their body.
I see that, yeah. But some of them are very, very, they know. They know.
They know they're hurting you. Yeah, they chose that instead of doing the right thing.
Sucks to be them.
Remember, it all comes back around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica. I gotta find out in my astro what council, because I think it's the I always say it's Andromeda, but I could be wrong. I mean,
I believe you worked with the Andromedans, and you had lived amongst the Andromedans, but it's another council, and if for some reason it's not coming to me just yet, maybe they want you to go in and have a realization of it and show you some more about it.
you know that robe that you told me about, it feels so comfortable. When you were describing it, I'm like, oh, it feels so comfortable because I love it, like from the top all the way down. That's how I like
Yeah,
it.
it was loose. It was loose, but it was almost like velvety. It was
I
like
love
really
velvet.
nice.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a paprika red. That's like one of my favorite colors, other than black.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It sounds like that rainbow outfit that went all the way up to her neck that I told you about, Jessica,
Yeah.
with the long dress.
Okay,
You know.
you first, Iris, and then me.
Oh, that's a story I have to tell you off camera.
Not bad, huh?
She's got her
Yeah, no.
book. She's got her book of notes.
Oh,
So
I know. When I met her in Vegas, we were there for 2 hours going through her notebook, and then she would call me or I'd call her, and then we'd go through. It's amazing what she has in there.
Yeah, that story. Yeah, that story I have to tell you off camera because I was like, wow.
Okay, so does Jessica know about how I saw you, and now I know who you are, that you came to me in the
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't tell her that.
Yeah. So I'm walking right in the desert, like here, like in Tucson or Phoenix, and there's an earthquake going on, and there's these two beautiful green beings that come up, and I thought they're cacti or cactus, and they come up. They are beautiful green eagles, girlfriends. And they're flying with me, and then to my left there's a distraction. There's this guy, older guy, wanted me to do drugs. I'm like, oh hell no! I tell him, and I walk out. Walk up. The earthquake gets stronger and stronger. The earth breaks, and right in front of me, and I fly up to like a Burrum, but that Burrum, that huge mountain, is like a train railway system, but in mountain form. And on top, there's like a little, like a techo, like a little roof of metal, like kind of like when you wait at a bus stop or whatever, or a train station. Here comes Iris. I didn't know it was her until 4 days ago. This was in 2017. Okay. And she's in a beautiful, her hair is tight, beautiful black. She's melanin dominant also. And she has like these 3 necklaces that are gold. Like she's a pharaoh. I didn't know she was a pharaoh's daughter until she told me, but I'm like, you were royalty. And then her dress is a black with blue and orange and red and yellow. So dark, beautiful. All the lines are going down like horizontal, and she flies to me, and there's other people around me, and her council or her tribe comes with the other people and sits, and we ride the train, which is actually not a train. It's the whole earth, Mother Earth, in a big mountain site or whatever, all going, we're going to the right of me. So
Did you ever tell me this story before?
no,
What? This sounds familiar to me.
that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
She just told me a few days ago. She goes, I know who you are now. I go, okay, and that's what she told me.
Yes.
So it hasn't been communicated to you.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen it too.
And then, she also came up to me. It was a stagecoach area. I don't know, 1800s or early 1910 or something. There was horse carriages, and then there was vendors around me. I was like in a big, inside like a museum or mansion, whatever, and people were selling things. And the man comes, and the wife, they're melanin dominant also, like they're two, boy and girl kids. And then the man helps me to come up the carriage he lays me down, and then the woman puts her hands on my chest and says, and then telepathically she and her daughter do that, and they heal me from breast cancer. And I'm like, wow, that was you, Iris. I've never had breast cancer, but when I was in the military, in the army, they gave me the 5-in-1 shot, which is the quaalude with the anthrax. So I had cervical cancer, and then I have back problems. So I've had that surgery. I have 6 titanium screws now in me since October, from S1 to L4, and then I'm getting ready to have them do my cervical, my neck. But that was Iris.
Yeah. She's very, very humble, but yeah, she's pretty interesting, and she's extremely psychic and has, strong visions and sees things that are going on. It's funny because we'll talk about something on a show and she'll say, look, I wrote this down in this date. And yeah, and
Awesome.
yeah, we do love you, Iris.
Oh, why, thank you.
Our oracle. I was calling my oracles ever since I met her. I'm like, I know you.
Oh, yeah, it's like the woman from the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't smoke the cigarettes and everything, though, right?
Oh,
Coffee cup.
yeah. Now I'll drink a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drink that. Yeah, one cup a day. That's it. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to say I have enjoyed myself. This has been a wonderful roundtable. I have to say this, really, truly.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Iris. Well, before we end for now, we can always do another one later. It doesn't matter, Jessica. You just text me or call me and say this is when I can do it, and Iris and I will be there to drop everything for you, because that's just
we'll do another Super Soldier Lady Talk.
Yes.
Sounds good. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jessica, would you please let anybody and everybody know how they can get a hold of you, and then Miss Iris? Thank you.
Okay. So they can get a hold of me through my website, or I have multiple websites, but one of them is readingsbyariel.com. That's ARAEL. Or you can go through ACIO official.org, and you can send me a message. If you want to book a session, please let's schedule before you send any money, so to make sure that's taken care of. But we can maybe have links. I can give you the links if people want to connect with me. And the YouTube channel is JessicaMarrocco. That's ARAEL. The last name is MARROCCO.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for having me on.
Anytime.
I really enjoyed it. You guys are a joy to be around. Thanks.
It's so much fun. I wanted to, well, we were supposed to be on last week, and then when you couldn't make it, I'm like, I don't care, I'll wait. So, we can, like I said, when you can. Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Miss Iris Jackson.
Actually, you can reach me by my email, powerlady3 at gmail.com. That's PWRLADY, the number 3 at gmail.com. And my my little YouTube channel, it's Power Lady, PWRLADY. So check it out, ask questions, and we will be doing more of this.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
And myself, you can Google my name. I'm on Truth Social, Telegram. I have 3 Instagrams. I also do readings, hex removals, cleansings, behavioral health coaching, whatever you need. You can book a session too, or go to Miss Ariel or Miss Power Lady, because she has tons of books that she writes things down, and you never know. You might be in her astral, or she might remember you too. So we make a very powerful team, the group of 3, and I'm very, very excited about this. Today was the day, ladies. See you later, alligator. Love you.
Bye-bye. Good.